this is Tanushka from Edureka, and I welcome you all to this session. Today, I'm here with yet another new topic that is Azure DevOps test plans. So, before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our Edureka YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any updates. Also, if you're interested in Azure certifications and training, then do check out to the link given below in the description. Now, let's quickly have a glance on today's agenda. So today we'll be discussing what is Azure DevOps test plans. Then we'll understand what do we actually mean by these test plans. After that, we'll look on to some of the key scenarios which make Azure DevOps test plans useful to us. And then we'll understand how these test plans work. And lastly, we'll have a quick hands-on on these test plans. So sit back and let's get started. What is Azure DevOps test plans? Azure DevOps Test Plan is a service launched by Azure DevOps that provides a browser based test management solution for the exploratory, planned, manual, and user acceptance testing. It provides rich and powerful tools so that everyone in the team can use to drive quality and collaboration throughout the development process. It is easy to use and it is browser based test management solution which provides all the capabilities required for a planned manual testing and user acceptance testing or exploratory testing and for gathering feedbacks from the stakeholders as well. So now that we have come to know what is Azure DevOps test plans, now let's deep dive into the concept and understand what are these test plans basically. So first let us understand what do you mean by a test plan. So a test plan is nothing but a container for storing test suites that are nothing but a collections of test cases. So these test plan function by allowing you to establish a container in which you can group your all test suites. So as you can see in this diagram, this is a container which comprises of number of test suites which are grouped and then stored into these test plans. So test suites are nothing but the collections of test cases which then form a group and then they are stored inside these test plans. So there are three types of test suites, that is static based, requirement based and query based. So static based test suites are type of test suites that are used either as a container to group other test suites or to group a specific set of test cases. So in Azure DevOps Test Plan, you can have nested test suites. That means a static test suite itself become a form of a container where we can add different test suites and then we can place or as a place to create a test case ad hoc. So as I said, it will be in a nested loop form. So most of the time you will be using a static test suites as you mean by grouping test suites together. Next is requirement based test suites. So, requirement based test suites are the simplest and the most traceable test suites. It is basically they pull all the test cases for a given requirement. This means when you go to build a test suite, you will not be choosing test cases. Instead, you will simply choose the requirements. So, what happens next is that any test cases that have already been built or connected to that particular requirement will get pulled in and populate your test suites. So, you can then run all of the tests for that particular given requirement. So, if you use a requirement based test suites, your team can create a traceability matrices so that you not only see how your test cases align with your requirements, but also you can see whether a particular test case has passed or failed for that particular given requirement. And next comes the query based. So, query based test suites are the type of test suites which pull in a group of tests from your project, irrespective of what requirement the test cases are linked to. So, it affords teams that have the ability to create a test suite using any criteria available. What does this mean actually? Is that when you are creating this type of test suites, it asks you how you want to pull these test cases and allows you to construct an ad hoc query to do so. So here you are not concerned with how test cases are connected to specific requirements, and instead it allows you to pull in the test cases that match a specific criteria. So when do you use these query based test cases is like when the team will run these tests on all the test cases that are currently in a given iteration or run the test on everything with a given tag. So, the idea behind the query based test suite is that you can easily include test cases from your project that you would like to test, irrespective of the affiliation to that particular requirement. So, as I said, a test suite is nothing but a collection of these test cases. So, what are test cases? Test cases defines to test a system, software, or any application. It can be a singular set of action or the instruction for a tester for a test to perform that validates a specific aspect of a product or the application functionality. So here in this particular test suite, you can have n number of test cases which can be then grouped based on the different types of test suites, that is static based, requirement based, and query based. Now that we have come to know about the test plans, test suites, and the test cases, now let us look on to some of the key scenarios which will help us understand why do we use Azure DevOps Test Plan. So Azure DevOps Test Plan provides software development teams some of the key benefits, such as they can test on any platform. So this means that with Test Plan's web portal, you can use any supported browser to access all manual testing capabilities. It enables you to create and run manual tests through an easy to use browser based interface that users can access from all major browsers on any platform. Next is it has a rich diagnostic data collection. So here using the web-based test runner and test runner client, you can collect rich diagnostic data during your manual test. This includes your screenshots, image action logs, screen recordings, code coverage, IntelliTrace traces, and test impact data for your apps under the test. And this data is automatically included in all the bugs you create during test, making it easy for the developers to reproduce this issue. Next is end-to-end traceability. So Azure DevOps provide end-to-end traceability of your requirement, builds, test, and bugs. You can create your requirement qualities from cards on the Kanban board, and the bugs created while testing are automatically linked to the requirement and builds being tested, which helps you to track the quality of the requirements and the builds. Next is integrated analytics. So, in this, the analytics service provides data that feeds into built in reports, configurable dashboard widgets, and customizable reports using Power BI. Data tracks test plan progress and trends for both manual and automated tests. The test analytics then provides real time visibility into test data for builds and releases. So, teams can act on this data to improve the test collateral to help maintain healthy pipelines. Lastly, is the extensible platform. So, you can combine the tools and technologies you already know with the development tools that work best for you to integrate with and extend Azure DevOps. You can use the REST APIs and contribution model available for the test platform to create extensions that provide the experiences you need for your test management life cycles. So these were some of the major key benefits that makes Azure DevOps useful for the development teams. Now let's quickly understand how does these test plans work. You can work on with the test plans with two ways, that is manual testing and automated testing. In manual testing, the Azure DevOps test plan uses test specific work item types to plan and author these tests. In addition, it provides two test tools to support running the test. Test plans, parameters, and configuration hubs provide the tools to efficiently create, manage the test items, their settings, and as well as their configuration. Now, in this, the test suites can be dynamic requirement based or query based suites to help you understand the quality of associated requirement under these development, or static to help you cover regression tests. Next is automated testing. So, automated testing is facilitated by running the tests within the Azure pipelines. So, here the test analytics provide you real time visibility into your test data for builds and releases. It helps you improve the pipeline efficiency by identifying repetitive high impact quality issues. So, These are the two types in which the test plans actually work. Now that we have come to know what are test plans, test suits, how do they work, so now let's have a quick demo on these test plans. Now let's quickly work on some of the demos where we'll create test plans, test suits, and see how it works. So for that, first we need to log into our Azure portal. So let's quickly log in. So for that, what do we need to do? First, we need to log in. Stay signed in. All right, now that we have come to our dashboards, here as you can see, this is the whole dashboard of the Azure portal where you find all the different kinds of services and resource group and all other subscriptions and stuffs. So we'll be directly moving ahead to our Azure DevOps organization. Now let's go to my DevOps organization. So once we come here, so this is the dashboard of Azure DevOps where we can see projects and we can also create new organization. So it is basically you need to create a new owner where under which you have a different you can create different projects. So I already have one of the test plans, but we'll create a new project. So let's create a new project first and let's name it as Azure Test Plans Demo. Now we can give a descriptions to our project or else you can leave it as it is and it's just a demo for us. So I'll be taking the private option and now we can just create. So now our Azure test plan has been created. So this is our project overview. So in this, we can add boards, repos, pipelines, test plans, and artifacts. So let's quickly go to our test plans. Now once we come here, now we need to first create a test plan. So as we said, a test plan is a container where we have group of test suits. So for that we need a container. So let's quickly create one new test plan. So let's name it as Azure Test Plan 1. Okay, that would be cool. And here you can choose the area path. So as our project name is Azure DevOps Test Plan, so we'll be keeping it under that. And the iterations, so here the iterations are nothing but our sprint. So we can take or we can keep it as it is. Later we can just change whenever to sprint 1. So let's quickly create. So now that we have created our test plan, now under this, we will be creating the test suite. So now here we need to see, here we can create a test suite over here. So this is our test plan. Under this, we'll be creating a new suite. So as we discussed before, we have three types of test suites, that is static, requirement based, and query based. So we'll be taking here static suite and now let's name it test suite 1. All right. Now our test plans are created and our test suite is also created. So if you go to our more options, so you can create one more under that particular test suite. You can create another test suites based on your requirements, and you can also assign testers to run the tests which are under these test suites. So now that we have created our test suits, so let's quickly go to our boards. Under that, we'll go to our sprints. So in this, we'll see whether our test plans are available or no. So as you can see here, Azure Test Plan Demo, that is our test plan. And under that, we have the test suite, which is under sprint 1. But currently, we don't have any test cases. For that, we need to create test cases as well. So as you have created these test suites, so in this you can either add new test suites under the test suite 1 or else you can assign the testers to the particular suite. But before that we need to create new test cases. So now what do we need to do is we'll first edit our test plan and we'll choose our iteration, that is our sprint 1. So we'll be choosing that and we'll just save and close. So once we do that, we'll just go to our boards. So as you can see, this is our test suite and this is our test plan. So, and it is currently active. So once you go to our sprints, so here you can see, as I said, in sprint one, we have only one sprint, but we don't have any test cases. So now what do we need to do? Now we'll go back to our test plans, and here, as you can see, we can have add test cases. So let's quickly new test case. So here we'll enter the title for our test case. So let's keep it quite simple. So let's create a test case like change the title size from H2 to H3. Okay, so what do we need to do is like we are changing the title size from H2 to H3. So here we'll provide the test case stage that will be in the design stage. So here what do we need to do? Here we need to add the steps. How to change the title from H2 to H3. So let's quickly add some steps. Alright, so we'll just give couple of few steps, that is open home.html, then go to class is equals to hello, and then we will change from h2 to h3. So these are a couple of steps we can add, and based on that you can also give your expected results. Here we'll write size changes. That means the size gets changed. We need to check that. So we'll just save and close. Now let's create one more test case. Let's try one more. So we'll just create one more test case, that is new test case. So in this test case, we'll just write something different. Now we'll say change the title size from H2 to H1. And here, as we said, we need to give our steps. So we'll just follow the same steps. Open home.html, then go to class is equals to hello, and then change from H2 to H1. So we have also created the steps, and this will be size change as we are just changing the size. So our expected result should be same. Now here you can also add the status, means you can give it the priority to our test cases. So there are different types of priority based on which you can create. So let's keep it 2. Let's not change anything, and we'll just quickly save and close. So we have 2 test cases. Now in this define section, we are able to see the different test cases which are assigned. Now we'll go to our execute, and here you can see that your test cases are also visible. So you can select one or multiple test cases. So let's quickly select one and just run for web application. So once we run the web application, so here you can see the steps are specified here. So now what I will do is go to these web applications and I'll check whether the changes have been done or no. When I open the home.html, if it is running well, so I'll just tick mark, or else if it is not, then I will just fail the test step. And then I go to the class hello. So once I go there, so I tick mark that, and I change from H2 to H3, so I'll click that. So once that is done, whereas here you can add some more steps, like here you can see insert new step. You can just create new steps, or you can delete the steps if you are not requiring it. So here you can just add any one new. All right. So here you can also take screenshots, or you can just select the image action and also create a video. Now once you have done this, we'll just save and close. So as you can see here, our test case, that is changed the title size from H2 to H3. So here it shows passed. Now we'll also do with the second one. So let's run it together. Let's see what happens. Okay, so here you can change your test. Like we have our first test, and you can switch your test cases. So currently, our one test has been done. So we'll do with our second test as well. So we'll just pass all the tests and we'll just save and close. All right, it shows active state. Let's see whether it has been done or no. All right. Okay, so what did we do? We did it for the first one as well. So we'll just quickly do for this as well and just save and close. So as you can see, our both the test cases have passed. So now that our test cases are run, now let's go to our chart section. So here you can create a new chart. So here you can either create a new test case chart or the test result chart. So now first let's create the rest test result chart. So here you have different kind of charts. So let's select bar as just to make it simple, and we need to group by, you can choose as per your requirement. If you have number of suits, you can choose that, or testers. So I'll take it as upper as the priority. So now here we'll just, you can change the colors of your bars and you can customize it on your own requirement. So once that is done, so now this is the test case. As we said, we have only one test suite. So based on that, our chart looks like this. So now that we have just run both the test cases and we also see the charts as well. So there were two test cases that had run successfully. Now we'll just go to our boards, and in that we'll just select any one of the test cases. Now as it has been run successfully, we'll just change the state. You can change the state by ready, closed, anything. So it will be just, we'll close this and we'll save it. All right. And now let's go back to the work items and let's do the same as well with the second test case, that is the change the title from H2 to H1. So let's do ready and let's save it. So what do we do is now we'll just go back to our test plans and create a new chart and see how our test case looks. So let's check based on our states. So here you can see one is in the ready state and one is in the closed state. So we had changed the state of one test case as closed, means the test has been done, and one as it is ready. As said, you can also change the colors based on your choice. You can give any colors to your charts and you can show to the people. So in this test suits, let's create a new test case chart. So in this, let's take a pie chart itself and let's group it by the states. So as we change the state of each of the test cases, based on that, we'll be seeing. So as you see, one test case was closed and I had changed one of the test case to be ready. So we can see the differentiation based on it. So it will be helpful for the team also to understand that how many test cases are closed under which states. So this is for you can create. So this was under the test suite one. Whereas you can also do it for your test plans as well. So as you can see here, it is like you can create new test cases over here, and based on that, you can create a chart. Now let's create one more suite and let's see how does that chart look. So let's create a test suite, that is test suite 2, and in this also we'll have a test case. Let's create a new test case like hello world. and we'll give couple of steps. Open hello world dot html, go to class, and then print is equal to hello world. Alright, now we'll just save and close. So this is our test case. So now we'll not run this test case now. We'll just create a chart and see how does it look like. So we'll just go to our test plan itself. So under this test plan, we will create a new test case. Okay, so here you can see it automatically gets changed. You don't have to like create a new chart over there. It automatically gets changed, and you can see one is in the design stage, one is in the ready stage and close stage. Whereas you can also edit it while if you want to change their constraints based on like state or anything. So you can change it accordingly. So I'll just keep it as it is. So this is how you do the manual testing in DevOps test plan. Whereas I said you can also do the automated testing by building pipelines, and with those pipelines you need to connect it with your test suites, and through that you can just automate all your test plans. So this was all about Azure DevOps test plans. I hope you enjoyed this session and got to know about what are test plans, test suites, and the test cases, and how can we do the manual testing. Happy learning.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries, and we will reply them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!